friends, and welcome back to a brand new video. I hope you're doing really well. Today is part 2 of 3. Part 1, you saw me choosing my brand new wheelchair. In this video, you are going to be seeing me getting measured for my brand new wheelchair. I'm also going to be sharing with you some unmissable top tips at the end of the video, so make sure you grab your pens, make sure you grab your paper, or write it on an iPad. Also, Spencer will be sharing his top tips. Spencer you met in the last video. He is the wheelchair fitter from Cyclone Mobility. Cyclone's reps are dotted all over the country. All of Cyclone's wheelchair fitters are wheelchair users themselves, so they have that lived-in knowledge that you just can't get from anybody else but a wheelchair user. Also, big shout out to Cyclone Mobility for sponsoring this video today. I will leave their information in the description box down below. But Cyclone Mobility, they supply and fit custom chairs, they supply Batex, they supply rehabilitation equipment. It's definitely worth a look because they are fantastic. I am going to be sharing with you my haul being fitted for a wheelchair so that you can see how it's done, you know what to expect if you're going for a fitting, and you'll also be able to hear some of the language and the terminologies used and hopefully pick up some tips along the way. Be sure to share all of your tips and your experiences in the comments down below. I really would like the comments section to be almost like a second resource for people looking to choose a wheelchair, because there's just so much to think and consider. Also, while you're there, thumbs up and subscribe, because the third and final video, I'll be sharing with you the brand new chair. It's one not to be missed for sure. Spencer is here.
Hello.
Okay, Spencer's going to share just a few top tips.
Knowing your level of injury, and that's for one, backrest height. So obviously, depending on the level of your injury, we would always recommend a higher backrest for a higher injury and a lower backrest for a lower power. The bucket of your chair is another real good important key factor for your level of your injury. You know, if you're a low injury, then you don't need so much what we call ergo or any incline in the chair as such. For a tetra, bucket's really important because it keeps their posture right. More bucket into the chair really does help a tetra in terms of being an active user. And that's something that some people don't actually are aware of.
So shall we start with the all-important measuring?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously we went outside earlier and did some had a look at the Jaguar. Obviously you've chosen the Jaguar.
Okay, so if you watched last week's video, you may be thinking, did I choose that wheelchair on the day? No, I didn't. Back in 2020, I made a video for Cyclone Mobility on the Batek Mini 2. If you haven't seen it, it's there. When they bought the Batek Mini 2 for me to try, they also bought a beautiful Jaguar. It was love at first sight. I knew I had to have one, and the rest is history.
Yes, the Jaguar is a fixed chair, so every measurement that's taken, there's no adjustment in it once it's made. The only adjustment there will be is slightly bit in the footrest. So we start off obviously with the seat height. So that's the overall height of the chair, so that's how high you really want to be sat in the chair. With your leg length, I'm looking at, obviously we wouldn't want to go too low because then we won't be able to put too much bucket into it.
Yeah. My current seat position is set at 90 degrees like this, whereas I would like a more bucketed, angled seat position like this. A little more on this later.
Are you quite happy with the height you're at now, or would you rather be a little bit lower?
Yeah, I think I'm okay at this height. As I was choosing a Jaguar chair, Spencer decided to measure me up in the Jaguar chair he bought with him.
In terms of that chair, how do you feel in terms of your posture in there?
Good.
Yeah. You've got this. Obviously, there's a bit more bucket to that chair,
Yeah.
to your own chair. You even look like you're sat in it, or sat on top of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely feel a lot more comfortable. I don't know if you can
Let's
have a
move
look.
around a bit.
Right, I can take some measurements. Basically, your seat height is at what we call 41 centimetres now, so that's the point of where you're level.
Can you measure her other one
Yeah.
at all, and do a comparison?
So your seat height on this one is nearly at 46.
Yes, it says.
So it's a few centimetres.
Yeah.
Backrest height.
Yeah.
So backrest height is obviously
really
a really important thing for you. In terms of that, that's quite a lot taller really than what you're in now. They don't need it as high as what it is. Are you quite happy with the height of the backrest on this chair?
Yeah.
So we can go off this one for the height of the chair, and again to do this we obviously go from your cushion, so about 30 centimetre backrest there.
And I think that comes up to like the T10.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. T10 obviously is the level of your spinal cord injury, and we were discussing what we like. So the rule can be, but also there's your own personal preference. But the kind of the rule of thumb is that you kind of go at your spinal cord injury level. So.
In terms of your front height in the chair, what this is going to relate to is to how much bucket you're getting in your chair. So obviously if you're going lower on the front, you're going to get less bucket. If you're going to go higher, you're going to get more bucket. Quite happy with how you're sat, or do you want to be like higher at the front or lower at the front in terms of that chair that you're in now?
I like the bucket in the other one.
Other one, fine.
But if you're getting a little bit confused by me saying I liked what was on the other Jaguar, that is when I tried the other Jaguar back in 2020, and the setup on it was amazing. It was just a little bit too small for me, but quite a lot of those aspects I wanted to carry through onto my new chair.
The other one had a bit more bucket, I believe, than this one. I'll take a measurement off this one, and so this is what we call like the front height of the chair. So there's not a massive amount in this, so you've got a 5 centimetre difference in the front to the back, so it's not huge. So obviously that's why you're not getting massive of bucket. So you can see straight away with this chair that you're in compared to this chair, this is a lot longer on the front, which makes the overall length a lot longer. This is a more petite, so it's in terms of the actual, your legs are almost sat underneath you rather than being in front of you. So that's the two differences here. And I'm guessing you still want to go for that sort of feel.
The underneath.
So in terms of your overall length of this, I'm just going to take a measurement length of your leg, really, so then I then can determine how long we need the chair. So this chair is 50 centimetres from there to there. But the overall length of the chair, the best way to actually determine the length of a chair is to put it up against a wall and then measure it from basically from the wall to the centre point of the axle. If it was someone else's own chair that they said, I want exactly the same, that's just one thing I would do straight away, because obviously we know that chair is what they want again, so we'd do that. Another question. So seat length. So in terms of the length of your seat cushion, you're happy with? Okay.
I do quite like these shorter ones.
Yep. So you like a bit more gap underneath your leg?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're in a 17-inch cushion at the minute. So, you know, I don't want to go too much, because then you're going to have a lot of slack in between where your cushion sits and where your legs bend. But I'd happily allow a couple of centimetres behind. So I'd happily bring it to 40 comfortably.
Okay.
Then we go on to Ergo seat length. So then you can have like a flatter spot before it starts bucketing up. So it's all about your bucket basically. You've got a straight point, so from here to here, that's a flat spot. So that's straight before it then starts angling up.
I see.
And that's what it's called an ergo. It's an ergo seat pan basically. So it's got it gives you more of a bucket, and you're at a flatter position with your bottom, which is good for your hips, really good for the hips.
Yeah, definitely.
Before it then starts circling up.
Yeah.
So that's something that I definitely recommend you having. And again, I can measure what's on here, and because your length of your legs, I'm going to go a little bit extra to what's on here. Your balance of your axle. How tippy do you like a chair? Do you like it quite tippy, not tippy?
I'm really happy with this one, to be honest.
Okay. And that one too tippy, or?
I think it was fine. Yeah. So this one, I think I could cope with this.
Okay. Yep. So obviously to measure this, how you do this is the axle. So the point of the axle, which is obviously here. So the centre point of this to the centre point of the backrest will determine how much tilt that you've got in the chair. You've got 7 centimetres. You can go as little, as much as you want. So obviously bringing it back more would make it less tippy, but obviously you want to bring it forward more and make it more tippy.
I reckon let's meet in the middle. I think that sounds.
Are you happy with how wide your chair is?
Yes, I
Yeah.
am. This is quite an important one.
Okay.
It came up quite a lot from you guys talking about width.
Mhm.
So when people come out of hospital and they're firstly injured,
Yep.
I've heard that people tend to overcompensate.
Yeah, absolutely, because you don't know, you could potentially
you
gain a
can-
little bit of weight, or
Yeah.
so they always give you a bit of a bigger chair. Obviously, again, obviously, if you're having a Mustang, back to when we were talking about chairs and adjustable chairs, if it's someone newly injured, you'd always allow a little bit more room, because obviously you don't know your growing room, you could potentially gain a little bit of weight. So obviously that's always something you've got to factor in, obviously more newly injured people than 10, 15 years down the line. Because obviously the whole point of a lightweight wheelchair is to have it nice and snug. But obviously for yourself, that's been in the chair for a long time, are you happy with your width?
I am happy
Yeah.
with my width.
Okay. So the best way for me, as you just know, maybe aware that you're happy with the width, is to measure the width of your chair basically.
Yeah.
So to do that, you basically measure from here to here, and that is the overall width of your chair, which is 37 centimetres.
But you're probably thinking, well, how do we measure the width of a wheelchair? If you are maybe 2-3 years down the line, and what they would do is they would take your hip measurement from when you are sat down. Right, those are the main important measurements that they will take when you go for your wheelchair fitting, or at least that's what it was like for me. When it comes to like all of the cool casters and the colours and the wheels and all that really fun stuff, I'm gonna save that for next week's video. So, okay folks, get that iPad, get that pen and paper, because it's time for my top tips. Take someone with you when you go for your fitting appointment. It's a long time, you might forget things. They'll be there to support you and remind you of things. It's just an extra pair of eyes and ears that can help you advocate for what you're after. It was a long process. It's about 3 hours, if not longer, more. And by the end of it, Spencer was asking me questions, and I mean, I could hear the words, but I couldn't process them. And I found it really hard to understand and visualize things and pick things. If you're making notes, take your notes with you so you don't forget anything. I go blank a lot. Be aware of the terminologies and the questions that they're gonna ask you. So you might have heard the word ergo when we're referring to the seat and the angle of the seat. It's a word I hadn't really heard before. Be aware of the extra costs and the extras. So quite a lot of chairs, they will have a standard chair, and they'll come with standard wheels, standard colours, standard brakes and those kind of things. But then if you want to change to scissor brakes, spinachy wheels, they can be an extra cost. So you may think that your wheelchair is going to be X amount, but that could quickly double when you add the extras that you want. Be aware of those before they come so you can choose them. If you want spinachy wheels, for example, you may want to think about what colours you want, what type of wheel you want, what type of blades you want or spokes that you want, because you may want to think about what colours you want before they come and place the order as well. I did actually change. I went for one colour when Spencer was here, but then I phoned him up later and I changed to a different colour. And doing that research before they come can save you a lot of time, energy and money. When you're having your fitting, all of that kind of fun choosing the spec and stuff comes at the end, and I was really tired by that point, and your judgment can be clouded. So I think I'm giving you an absolute gem, see what I did there, of a tip. You may also want to consider what clothes you wear. I put on a lovely summer dress because it was a beautiful hot summer's day. Then I thought, you know what, this is probably going to make transferring a little bit trickier, measuring a little bit trickier. So wear something sensible and easy for you. Take some food and drink with you. Keep hydrated and keep those blood sugar levels up. That was my video on me getting measured for my brand new wheelchair. I am so excited to show you the end result. So make sure that you subscribe for that and you don't miss it. Also, don't forget to check out Cyclone Mobility. I will leave them linked in the description box down below. I've got loads of content planned for this year on YouTube. I'm really excited to get back into my YouTube A game. Let me know all of your tips for when you're getting measured for a wheelchair down below. And if you enjoyed this video, you may enjoy my past videos on how to choose a manual wheelchair. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in my next one. Bye!